Chat, do we have time to go through the director's take now? Yeah? All right. I'm going to call the cops if I'm not done by this time the next round starts. All right. Hey everyone, Aaron Keller here. It's our first director take of the year. The team had a great break and we're super excited for season 15 and beyond. You may have noticed a recent announcement for Overwatch 2 Spotlight, and I can't wait for you to see what we've been coming up to the first few seasons so far. So again, full transparency, whether it's through, playtesting ages ago or leaks from other people, etc. I may or may not have some insight into some of this stuff. I am not going to share any of that. I'm not going to even imply any of that. The only thing I'm going to tell you is based off of what has been publicly said to me and what my conjecture would be without the internal bias. So I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys, but yeah, okay. I can't wait to see we've come into the first few seasons of the year. So for this blog, I want to spend a little time looking at some, watch your arm movements there, Musk. I'm sorry. I want to see how to improve them. All while shamelessly plugging Overwatch 2 Spotlight, which is the February 12th thing. Let's get into it. We started last year with a set of changes targeted at moment-to-moment gameplay and our competitive systems. We made a broad set of changes to core PvP gameplay, Season 9, rebalancing our heroes' health pools, changing projectile sizes, and reworking passives. So, we talked about that already. I'm making a video, like a full breakdown of the good and the bad of that. But it was an aggressive change, right? So, okay. We also completely overhauled our competitive system. We think that the idea of a yearly refresh of the game was successful and are looking to have a major update in the way that plays every year. So, regardless of whether you think that Season 9 was long-term, it did really increase a lot of people's interest in the game. Like, it was really big at the time. We want to go even bigger in 2025. Oh dear. Do you tell us to come in Spotlight as well as the next director's take block? We're happy with the new direction of competitive play. The game is now more approachable for new players and it's easier than ever to group up with your friends to play together in competitive. This approach of doing a rank reset worked well and gave players both new in season and new skill tier to reach. Sure. I don't know that. To my understanding, I don't think any of these things were from the rank reset. Like, it made higher, like post season 9, it is a lot harder to reach higher ranks. And to my knowledge, that's the only change. I mean, there's champion, right? Like that's like such a small subset of players. So I don't understand. This is just like, no, I don't really get it as much. Yeah. Anyway, I think maybe, you know what it was? I think it was the Y group thing is that he's referring to. The Y group thing. Yeah, the grouping restrictions in the Y group. So that's true. That's true. But yeah, okay, that's fair. Our champions proved to be a little too difficult for our top players to achieve. As we approach season 15, we're looking to adjust how players rank into different skill tiers have to reset the ranks again. Oh dear. Our highest ranks will shift to include a larger percentage of total player population, and we should see more players earn the right to call themselves champions. We're also looking to introduce some new systems to our competitive play. The first one to be announced in a few weeks. Okay, so new systems in competitive play, that's cool, and a larger percentage of higher ranked players. Now, I'm pretty glad for this. I've had a lot of questions about this one recently because Grandmaster is like 0.25% of players. Last we checked, Morgan shared that bar graph or whatever. I mean, Grandmaster is like, for context, I think like 4 times harder to get into than it was in Overwatch 1. So it's a little excessive, right? Little bit excessive. So I think shifting that a little bit down might be good because prior to Season 9, like way too many people were Grandmaster. Post Season 9, basically nobody was Grandmaster. So yeah, I think that's why we're having the rank reset. I don't like rank resets in terms of like a competitive integrity side of things. I've discussed that at length in other videos, basically proving that rank resets cause way more game instability. But I do think that they're probably necessary when you're reshifting the percentage breakdowns of the ranks, if that makes sense. So it's an understandable, deserved rank reset. And I'm also convinced that they increase engagement. So even if they're bad for competitive integrity, I think it's more of like a marketing thing. People want to play. So whatever. Jade weapons. We've talked about Jade weapons. Different set of weapons based on how often you play comp. So maybe you've been very particular. So Jade weapons variants are going away for now. Now he's already said, I saw on Twitter where they aren't going away. It's just gonna be legacy currency. And you got a new weapon variant to collect in 2025 that will be out of this world. I have no idea what that means. I assume it's like a galaxy thing, like sparkles or something. I have no freaking idea. But there's so many things they could do with weapons, so we'll see how it goes. Wins the poo weapon variant. That one's coming in 2026. Hang tight. Competitive drives, which is why for the final season of the 2024 season, we're offering double the competitive points. Drives are fine. I think they're kind of boring personally, but I do like that they're actually starting competitive rewards, which we haven't had in like, I don't even know how long. So that's great. Let's look at new heroes. The 3 heroes this past year have been some of our most mobile and 3-dimensional heroes yet. Venture, Juno, Hazard. Each of these heroes has introduced a level of verticality that really makes battle also more dynamic, and we want to continue bringing new heroes that can be engaging for both of you using them and the opponents playing against them. Love it, love it, love it. Loves and kisses. Buy you a car. I think with all the problems you may have about Venture and Juno and Hazard, many of them being briefly overtuned or long-term overtuned, they have lots of skill expression. They're lots of fun to play, and they're not the most annoying compared to previous releases characters to play versus. I don't care if you disagree, you're freaking wrong. That's kind of a joke, but really, like, there's more counterplay options, there's more choices, there's more interesting gameplay dynamics, and every character is going to be annoying to play against in certain scenarios. And I think like 2024 has probably been their best hero release yet. Looking ahead to 2025, and the big thing here is that they're more dynamic. I love that word. And when it continue bringing us to being engaging for both you using and the ones buying get them. Like, clarifying that that's a hero design vision moving forward is like super, super, super encouraging. No more life weavers, no more Malgas, stuff like that. Looking ahead to 2025, we're looking at how we can make all of our heroes more engaging and unique for players. This feels also like a little bit of Rivals pressure as well, because if you talk about like dynamic and more engaging, Rivals is like the definition of that, right? Like everyone, I've always said that, like, not necessarily more, less is more and all that kind of stuff, but like, you know, having more choices, mobility, dynamic abilities, it's just more fun. Like, not super complicated, but like skill is relative, right? So like you in Marvel Rivals, you don't have to understand all of your buttons to be a silver or gold player, right? So I really think Rivals has actually pushed that bill, because Rivals, even though not all the characters have like really complicated floors, they all have like a lot of pretty dynamic and complicated abilities. A lot of them do, right? With a lot of nuances, right? And it proves that Marvel Rivals, being a very casual game in that aspect, or in other aspects, it still has complicated kits, right? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So, you know, frick you, people that said that you have to have 1 button or 2 button characters in Overwatch to function. You know, I think audiences change. I think skill is relative, and also you don't need 7 different buttons. You could have a character like Genji or Tracer who have relatively simple buttons, but how you use those buttons is very complicated, and that's great. I'm really, really, really excited to see that over whether that's pressure from Rivals or just the maturation of the design team. Really good stuff for me. We also ran our. Do you want to check out the spotlight? Wait. We're looking at how we can make all of our heroes more engaging and unique players. We're looking at how we make all of our heroes more unique and engaging for players. This is something the team wants to change, and looking forward to sharing more soon. I mean, I get why people are seeing passives here, right? Like, we've already seen Alec Dawson talking more about more knobs to tweak. We've already seen pickable passives not once, but twice in different variations. There isn't any confirmation here at all. There isn't even the word passive. But saying we're looking to making all heroes more engaging and unique for players is definitely like an eye-opener here. I'm trying to think what else that would be. What else could you construe there? It could be reworks. This could also be a lot of reworks, so they could have a lot of reworks planned they're going to come out with. This isn't bans. I don't think bans has to do with this here. So it's I'm off the top of my head conjecture. I don't know. This feels like, you know, either passives or reworks. Feels like, to be more expansive kits. So who knows? We also ran our first 66 events last year and earlier this year. They took the form of 66 roll queue and min 1 max 3. The roll queue version accounted for nearly 10% of all players. Nice. In the game for most of its event run. And this is the keyword here. For most of its event run. Like, the retention was seems pretty good here. That's pretty good. For reference, our roll queue quick play modes count for nearly 35. This is during the 66 sets. There's definitely a demand for a mode with this team side, but still uncertain how large that demand is. We're going to run a mini competitive season, nice, starting mid-season 15, nice. That's good as well, so that's not competing with the hype of whatever is happening in season 15 as much either, right? So it's not like, oh, 66 isn't being played because of all the crazy hype. It's like it's spacing it out. That's nice. It's still early to say what 66 is place is in Overwatch with a decent amount of people playing it. It's probably here to stay in some form, but so far we're not ready to swap the core format of the game. Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, it just makes sense, right? Like 66 long term, possibly, yeah. But they need more testing, and they need, especially with Rivals and not having a competitive mode, and hopefully some lessons learned about some of the balance of the 66 that we're going to keep going forward here as well. Speaking of game modes, we want to take a moment on to expect for Clash and Quick Play. This year we introduced Clash, which is inspired by the original Assault maps. So basically, TLDR of why people hate Clash, right? Let me just give this a quick heads up. All right, I don't think the map modes are that bad. I think some people complain about the map mode, but I think the maps are okay until you get to either extreme, where they become overwhelmingly defender's advantage, like 2CP. The reason they're overwhelmingly advantage, because in theory, if they're not, then it's really easy to just cap 3 and win the game. 2-minute games. I mean, I've literally seen 2-minute games before. Okay. Understandable. So then you give defenders advantage. The problem is, if you give defenders advantage, then there's no real motivation for the attackers to push. Now, they've compensated that by if you get partial credit for partially capping, which I actually think is pretty good. I think maybe they could still tweak some of the defenders advantage a little bit, but the biggest problem with Clash, there's none of those things really. The biggest problem with Clash is actually that if you cap points if you cap your own point, basically the points that are in your defense, you get full credit. So you can lose a bunch of points and then just win back the points when you have a defender's advantage, and you get the same score essentially as the attackers. So you can actually lose games, and it happens all the time. It happens to me, I would say, as many as 25-30% of my games in Clash, where I lose the game, but we lost 1 point or no points basically in our own space. And it just feels really, really bad. It feels really, really bad to be like, we were constantly the aggressor and we were still losing, right? They had a slight competitive advantage basically the entire match. No wonder they won, right? And there's different solutions at this, like, you know, whether you get less credit for defenders, capping your own points. But basically, that it's not an easy solution. And so they're going to be removing Clash from competitive play. Still being quick play. And we're taking time to look at the maps to work out how to better deliver the best competitive experience for all of our players. We'll keep you updated in the progress. It will be in quick play and so on. 2025 is going to be even bigger, and I can't wait for the team to share more on Overwatch 2 Spotlight. Holy cow. Let's make a great game. Yeah, good stuff. So Spotlight, something new is happening. And the key thing to be looking at here is specifically here, how can we make more heroes more engaging and unique for players? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.